So the date and time pickers or widgets enable you to do many different things, and they work pretty much exactly the same. Although the date picker just enables users to select a date, whereas the date and time picker enables them to choose or select a date and also a time. And you can create some amazing flows from this, whether it be booking in for services and appointments, or even creating an automated webinar registration directly within inside of your chatbot flows. Okay, let's get in there. Let's take a look at the actual date and time picker. So first off, let's head into the actual date and time picker. Okay, so we're going to come into here. We're going to select on the question. Okay, then we'll see the date and time. In this example, we're going to use a date and time. Like I said, they work pretty much exactly the same, although this one allows you to use a time-based input too. Okay, let's select on that. So we're inside of the main editor here. So this is where you're going to type in the question relating to the input of date and time. So let's take, for example, that we're creating an evergreen webinar type flow. Okay, so let's just type in select your date and time below to get the webinar. Okay, something simple like that. Okay, so here then you can, this is the button that displays on the actual time picker itself. So you can just go select, okay, select time and date or whatever it may be that you want to put in there. And we'll show you that in a second. Okay, so we need to save this to a response, okay, to a custom field. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put in webinar registration, okay, something like that. And we come in and here it's just date and time. Okay, great. So that's pretty much set up for you here. Okay, if we open up on the advanced settings, which we won't go very deep into, but here you can select like a minimum allowed date. So if you have a date that people can't book for, okay, then you can insert it inside of that. And you can also use custom fields if you wish. Okay, so that's pretty much set up, ready to go. So let's go ahead, and what we're going to do is we're just going to add the next step into there. So we're just going to come in and select send message. So I can just show you the actual response itself. Saves going back in and back out again. Okay, let's go in for the text. And let's type in a text here. So your webinar will start on, okay, and this is where we can put the custom field. So webinar registration. Okay, as simple as that. There, it's done. Okay, so we can come out of that now. So let's go into the actual preview screen itself. So let's go ahead and publish, and let's preview this. Okay, let's preview in a web pop-up. Okay, so select your date and time below to get the webinar. They're simply going to click on the select button. Okay, great. And this is what your users will see inside of their mobile phones or even on desktop. Okay, so this is where they can select the date and time. So let's go for the 30th of November and now select a time. Okay, so we've got this nice little clock wheel here. Okay, so we can select, let's just say 1. Okay, and then let's select the time that they want to receive it is 1:25. Okay, great. Then all they need to do then is click on select and they'll receive the follow-on message. Okay, great. Your webinar will start 2022. Okay, 11:30 time 01:25. Okay, you can adjust these times anyway. So when you select or create the actual custom field, you can manipulate on how it reads. So you can say Saturday the 30th of November 2022 at 1:25 p.m. Okay, really simple. So you can go up and edit all those parameters there. So let's just take this a little bit further in this short video. Okay, so let's take, for example, that we want to send out a reminder to this user. Okay, it's very simple to put together. Okay, so let's just pull this down here. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to set up a thing called a smart delay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to continue, and then we're going to use an action step. Okay, inside of the actions then, if you head over into advanced actions, this is where you can set a smart delay. Okay, so then you'll be presented with this here. So this is how long you want to delay this flow for. Okay, so we see the delay type, okay, or duration. So we can select a duration, specific or specified date and time, or dynamic date and time. So we want to select the dynamic one because we're using the custom field value. Okay, so all I need to do in here then is put in the actual webinar registration. Okay, you can do an offset. So this is where you could set it for hours before, or minutes before, seconds before, and so much more inside of that. So you could send out a reminder 10 minutes before, or even 5 minutes before the actual selected date, just to get them on board. Okay, great, and let's click on save. Okay, so that's it then on that, and then you'd add a message on there and say, hey, your webinar is ready to rock and roll. Here's a link to join. Okay, something simple like that. So that's how you can use the actual date, time, and date pickers widgets.